Hi everyone, this is my 4-month post-op video. It's been exactly 4 months since the surgery to my wrist and my arm, and it's been slow but steady progress since my last video, which was 3 months post-op. So that last video was exactly a month ago. So I had my follow-up visit with my doctor yesterday and my therapist as well, actually, and that went pretty well. They did an x-ray just to confirm that the bone is healed and from the osteotomy, and from the x-ray it looks 100% healed, which is good. And we talked a little bit about recovery time and stuff, because I had been under the impression for the longest time that I was going to be mostly 100% by 3 months. And he clarified a little bit that, that's mainly for the bone healing. As far as the soft tissues, that's going to be, more like about 6 months total. So I'm glad he clarified on that a little bit, because for the longest time I was always under the assumption that it was going to be like 3 months, but in total it's really like 6 months. And in terms of gaining your total strength back and your total range of motion, he said for some people that can even be up to a year. So, but anyways, we also talked to my therapist at the time. His only concern during the entire visit was the same concern I had, which was that out of all of my range of motion areas on my wrist, the only one that wasn't really getting that much better in the last month was what he calls Flexion, which is flexing your wrist down. This is still about as far as it goes most of the time, which is only about 50–60%. If I really warm it up and stretch it for a good half an hour, it'll go to like about 70%, but just about any time of the day, it's really pretty much stuck at like 50% still, which is where it's been for almost a month now still. Haven't seen much progress there. Everywhere else, all the other ranges are really good. Everything else is about 90+%, almost 100%. Extending my wrist up is almost 100%. Twisting, which they call pronation, supination, is almost 100%. Deviation, which is side to side, is almost 100%. But for some reason, I'm not sure why, that flexing has been a lot of trouble. And as I've progressed and tried to push it harder and harder, I keep getting more pain across the bottom of my wrist, which the doctor said is very odd, because most people, if anything, have pain on the top of the wrist because that's where the incisions were from the surgery. For some reason, mine's been on the bottom. I think a lot of it has to do something with the last cast that I wore. The last one that I wore for 3 weeks was really tight around my wrist. In fact, I have a sore spot right here on the edge of my palm still from that cast because it was so tight right around the neck of my wrist. And I think it just irritated this part of my wrist, and that's been keeping me from getting my full flexing back. So because of that, he decided to call him a therapist. It was actually my therapist. She's in the building next door, and she came over during the visit and looked at it as well, and they both conferred about it. And they were kind of debating putting me in a type of splint. I don't recall what they call it, but it's a wrist splint that's adjustable as far as the angle. And basically they put you in it, and they adjust it to the range, and then you tighten it, and then as time goes on, you can adjust a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and each time tightening it, but it keeps it right there at that particular angle. And eventually, it keeps going more and more and more until you're 100%, and it takes a while. But they kind of decided in the end to give it a few more weeks. So I'm going to keep on going to therapy. I was technically done with physical therapy last week, supposed to be, but because of this particular flexing issue, I'm probably going to go a few more weeks. Of course, I'll continue to do it myself as well. It's a lot of physical therapy, a lot. I've only been going to the office once a week, the physical therapist, but on your own, on my own, I know I have to spend about 2 hours a day, every single day, no matter what, to make the progress, the slow and steady progress that I have been. So you really have to commit to a lot of physical therapy if you want to make this outcome a successful outcome. It takes a lot of work on your part. I typically spend like about an hour in the morning before work and about an hour after work, and sometimes during my lunch break I'll exercise it or stretch it for about a half an hour. but it's a lot. So anyways, that's range of motion. As far as strength is pretty good. You know, everyday stuff, it feels like it's about 100%, close to it, but you know, when I start to do anything that's takes some kind of extra strength, then I start to notice that it's really more like 50%. So it just depends. And as far as pain, pain level has been much better. Of course, obviously, as time goes on, and the only pain still, and I kind of mentioned this in the 3-month video, is just the only pain I really feel is from when I hit the maximum range on my range of motion. So for the most part, therefore, the only pain I really have is going down, because that's the one that I'm still fighting the stiffness on. Because like I said in my last video, stiffness equals pain. The more stiffness you have, the more painful it is. And when I say pain, I'm not talking about the pain from my original issue. I'm talking about the post-op pain. Being immobilized for 6 weeks, even a good wrist, can be pretty painful just from trying to get rid of that stiffness. So anyways, that's that. Also, 2 weeks ago, my therapist said I could start lifting weights at the gym. You know, in physical therapy, be it at her office or at home, I've been limited to the last 4 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. I've been limited to just a little 3-pound dumbbell, and that was pretty much what I was maxed out at. But she encouraged me to start lifting actual weights at the gym. Now, we're not talking about crazy 150-pound bench press or anything like that, but obviously I'm limited by strength because the arm is just not that strong. So I tried it out 2 weeks ago, and it actually went pretty well. I was actually pretty impressed. Anything pulling or lifting was really not too much of a problem. Excuse me. Obviously, like I said, I'm not strong enough to do a whole lot, but you know, anything pulling is pulling. It is not impacting your wrist; it's sort of stretching it out, so it didn't hurt at all. Now, so anything pushing is a totally different story, though, because as you're pushing, now you're compacting the wrist. So, just for example, like pull-ups. Like, obviously, I'm not strong enough to do a pull-up yet. I used to do a lot of pull-ups, but I'm just saying, in that action of pulling, wouldn't really hurt much. But if I went to the bench press and tried to bench press, that would be very painful. So I stuck to mostly machines, because on the machines, your good arm can kind of assist your bad arm a little bit, so you don't overdo it. And like I said, it actually went pretty well. I was pretty surprised. It wasn't even painful afterwards. I thought it would be a bit painful afterwards or maybe the next day. It actually wasn't at all. It was a little bit stiffer than usual the next day. But other than that, it went pretty well. I tried, in fact, she encouraged me to try some modified push-ups. Sorry, you know, modified push-up is a push-up that you do with on your knees instead of on your toes, and I can do that. It's not very comfortable. It's borderline painful to actually do, but you know, I can do them. I can't do 100 of them, but I can do them, and I can do it pretty well. But I don't really enjoy them that very much because of the mild amount of pain. I prefer to stick with stuff that's not painful. But anyways, so that's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else. If I remember anything, because I usually forget something during these videos, so I'll add a note to the bottom of the video. But I probably won't make another video till the 6-month mark. You know, between now and 6 months, I'm just going to keep on doing my physical therapy, keep on doing my stretching. We're starting to work on my strengthening some more. I've mainly been concentrating on stretching for a while now, because I figure I got my whole life to regain my strength, but I don't have a whole lot of time to regain my range of motion. So I'll probably not make the next video till 6 months, if the doctor and the therapist do decide to put me in that splint, then I'll probably make a video just to talk about that a little bit. But we'll see. We're all going to give it a few more weeks and see before that. But for the most part, that's it. So I'll see you guys in a couple of months probably. Thank you all. Bye.